Every day we rely on familiar signals to understand the world around us. We see a stop sign and we know what it requires us to do. We see a doctor or nurse wearing a stethoscope and we recognize the role that person represents. We see a garbage truck moving through a neighborhood and we understand why it is there. We recognize these signals almost instantly, usually without stopping to question them. Online, we make similar judgments, but those signals are much easier to imitate. Think about the last time you logged into a website. Why did you trust it? Was it the company logo? Was it an email that brought you there? Or maybe it was the web address, something that you recognize easily. Or did everything simply just look right? The question I want to explore today is, how do we decide what to trust online? Beginning in March 2026, I designed and built an isolated cybersecurity environment for hands-on research, testing, learning, and experimentation. Through the Student Engagement Grant, St. Philip's College gave me the opportunity and motivation to turn my ideas into something I could build, test, and demonstrate. I would like to thank St. Philip's College for making that experience possible. This environment allowed me to explore how familiar online signals influence what we choose to trust. Online, we often rely on the sender, whether the request makes sense, the familiar appearance, and the web address. Each signal provides information, but not one alone proves that the entire interaction is trustworthy. A sender's account can be compromised. A believable request can be created from information a threat actor has learned. A familiar website can be reproduced. And even web addresses can be changed just by one character. When several convincing signals appear together, we may become less likely to question the interaction. When we think about phishing, many of us picture an attacker pretending to be someone we trust. What happens when the message actually comes from an account the organization already trusts? The tactic is called lateral phishing, and an attacker may compromise a legitimate organizational account and uses that trust identity to target other people. A peer-reviewed study presented at the 2019 USENIX Security Symposium found lateral phishing in 14% of the organizations studied during a 7-month period. More than 1 in 10 attackers successfully compromised at least one additional employee. The attacker is no longer simply pretending to be someone the victim trusts. The attacker is communicating through an identity the organization has already accepted. So take a look here at Michael Bennett. He's a new employee, and there's going to be some interaction between him and human resources as he joins the company. Okay, so Michael receives an email from human resources, and it's an onboarding email. It's something that he is expecting, and he's probably been going through some onboarding with the new organization, like welcoming him, expectations and policies. And so he's expecting an email, and it says, hey, let's finalize your system access, and he's got to do some verification to access the network. And also there's a little bit of urgency here saying that, hey, don't delay because, you might not get paid. So at initial glance, everything looks good. This is an internal organization email and to Michael. And there's the logo, the company logo here, with a 0 and a D. And then even down here, it's legit. But if we hover over this secure connection, you can see on the bottom left there, it's missing a D. So maybe so in our scenario, Michael did not pay attention to that, because everything looked like it was an email from this organization that he joined. So he clicks on that, and it brings him to the website here. Again, we see some signs that this is legitimate, And but up here in the where the URL is, the website, it's missing a D, right? Well, let's go to the actual legitimate website, not the phishing website here, and we'll see that they are identical. Let's take a look. Plus worked, plus worked. It's all the same information here. And, you know, Michael missed that. Let's take it a step further and take a look at, you know, this HTTP, the certificate information here. And we see the connection is secure. And there's some information about a certificate here. Here's his actual organization. And then here's the domain that is the phishing domain website. And you know, they're both encrypted traffic. So so Mike is going to enter his credentials, and he's probably going to get some bad news. So so he's phished. Now we'll take a look over here, and he'll log into this one after he realizes he messed up. And there we go. He should have been at this website. So a lot of signs were there. He trusted what he saw. He saw that trusted email from the organization, and clearly this is a simplified scenario created for this demonstration purpose. But the important detail is that Michael wasn't ignoring an obvious warning. You know, several believable signals worked together and led him to the wrong destination. Creating a deception like this does not require one criminal mastermind doing everything alone. Criminals can combine stolen accounts, copied websites, rented or compromised servers, and other tools that they may be provided by other criminals. A more organized attacker may register a convincing lookalike web address and maybe connect it to a copied website. And even less sophisticated attackers or threat actors may use a temporary hosting address or even a direct link. The method can clearly vary. The important point is that several believable pieces can be assembled into one convincing experience. Michael didn't rely on only one signal. He trusted the sender, the timing, the request, and that button. He even trusted the branding or that plus worked logo, and that website. It looked very, very convincing. So several of those signals were genuine. The email really came through the human resources account. The phishing website really had an encrypted connection. Its certificate really matched the domain displayed in the browser. The mistake Michael made was assuming that those signals proved the intentions of the person behind the request. So we have to think that it's the attacker's job to arrange the interaction so that each familiar signal makes the next one easier to accept. And this is what makes this kind of attack very powerful. It may succeed because the attacker carefully provides the signals the victim has learned to trust. Attackers may try to conceal themselves through stolen accounts, false identities, compromised servers, and infrastructure located in different places. This can make an investigation difficult, but it doesn't guarantee that they become invisible. There may be records from email providers, hosting companies, domain registrars, financial institutions, and even affected systems, computers. Investigators would generally prioritize cases based on the harm caused, the number of victims, the available evidence, and possible connections to larger criminal operations. When we think about this, we have to kind of put it into perspective. The answer is not to distrust everything. The answer is to verify more carefully when the consequences of being wrong are serious. Instead of asking, does this look legitimate? Ask whether you were expecting that request and whether the web address matches exactly. You can even try to reach the same service through a saved bookmark or maybe a known shortcut or the organization's main website. Verify the request through another communication method even. You could contact the department or person using the information you already trust rather than maybe a suspicious looking email that just doesn't look right. Organizations should make suspicious messages easy to report. And a warning that reaches the security team quickly may protect the next person targeted by the same account. Again, the goal is not some perfect suspicion, but the goal is to add enough verification to interrupt the deception. So now that we've kind of discussed all this, I want you to think again about the last website you trusted. You probably relied on several signals to make that decision quickly. The question is not simply whether those signals were present. The question is what they actually proved. Again, a logo can be copied, an account can be compromised, a website can look completely legitimate, and even a connection can be encrypted. Each signal may provide useful information, but no single signal tells us the complete story. Trust should come from verification, not appearance alone. So the next time something online looks trustworthy, pause and ask, what am I actually trusting and why? Thank you for your time.